Before the show starts, can you believe that this year is almost over? What? I got a couple more con appearances coming up and would love to meet you. Anime Pasadena, this Sunday, December 12th only. The con is Saturday and Sunday. I'm only going to be there on the 12th. And Anime Fest in Dallas, going to be there all 3 days, December 17th through 19th. Links to tickets on my website, kyleabear.com. And now our feature presentation.
Minus 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us. A mulatto, an albino, a mosquito, my libido. Hello, all you happy people.
Welcome to the Intergalactic Boombox, IBB. Yeah, you know me. Kyle Abear here, the voice of the narrator on Dragon Ball Z. And if you want to see corresponding images or use chapters to skip around or even donate to the show as you listen in-app, dude, download any of the free and awesome Podcasting 2.0 apps at newpodcastapps.com. I better recognize our Sat Cat of the Week, Dave Jones. From the Podcasting 2.0 podcast with Adam Curry and podcastindex.org. A collective of amazing devs creating the future of podcasting. Yes. Dave sent me a boost, which is a Boostagram. You can send a custom message to the podcaster. Dave says, "Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Abear. I imagine this Boostagram being a shot at you from a cannon by Futurama robot Santa Claus. I feel the love. 50,000 sats sent using Cast-O-Matic. If you're hearing this show on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, any of those, you don't get the 2.0 features, images, chapters, the ability to stream donations to a podcaster. The question of the week. What do you think of Hawkeye so far? Exodus says episode 3 is where it started to be worth watching. I don't know, I thought it was kind of corny. Had a great car chase scene. Love the PEM particle arrow. Matthew, I'm really enjoying it. Roberto, love it. Fellow voice actor Austin Lee Matthews, interesting take on the My Life as a Weapon storyline so far. John Wintraub, it is super fun, which is exactly what it needs to be. Lord Comet, twang, thunk. Professor Benson, I like it. The inclusiveness of diverse characters is really refreshing. Frankie, it's awesome. T. Muster gives it a purple heart. New question. What's something collectible or valuable now that you had as a kid that you either destroyed or gave away or lost? And you're just kicking yourselves because like, man, I could have put my kids through college if I'd only took care of that one action figure and left it mint in the box. Of course, any parent will tell you that toys are meant to be played with. So you shouldn't kick yourself too hard. Unless you had Jawa with the plastic cape back in 1977. As big of a Star Wars fan as I've always been, I actually didn't collect the action figures back in the day. I always played with my friends. But I was a huge Kiss fanatic, and I collected all their albums, and ones that have gone on to be collectible that came with stickers, and like the Love Gun album had little paper cutout guns and temporary tattoos. The Kiss solo albums, they all had little really trippy psychedelic looking posters. Kiss Alive had this awesome booklet. So yeah, something collectible and valuable that you're kicking yourself because you lost it or damaged it or gave it away or for some reason no longer have in your possession. Let me know at BoomboxPod.
Have you ever said to yourself, "Self, I love movies, but there's just not enough hours in the day to keep up with everything"? Well, fear not, for now you can enjoy Cinemashups. Twice the movie in half the time. Literally. 2 movies are painstakingly superimposed on each other and are edited to magically fit together to have the same runtime. Sure, it looks and sounds like a train wreck, but with this enhanced spaghetti strainer strapped to your head, your brain will make sense of it all. Theoretically. This amazing collection includes Rosemary's Baby Driver, A Miracle on Elm Street, I Know What You Did Last Midsommar, An American Pie in London.
Smokey and the Time Bandits.
Dunkirk.
No Country for Old Men in Tights.
And many, many more.
Act now and you'll receive the exclusive triple threat.
The Empire Strikes Back to the Future.
The Rocky Amityville Horror Picture Showgirls.
Call the toll-free number on your screen right now and...
It's a podcast, bro.
Oh. Well, then pretend there's a toll-free number and then call it.
What he said.
Cinemashups. Movie multitasking doesn't have to be a muddled mess.
As we all know, Disney bought Fox in recent years, which includes a lot of awesome properties, including the much-beloved Firefly. You know, back before everyone learned Joss Whedon was a douche canoe. The show is essentially a sci-fi western set in the future where Chinese becomes a second language. The show is very character-driven. A lot of Chinese phrases are sprinkled in and out, a lot of insults, yet no actual Chinese cast members. Anyway, it came in the early 2000s with episodes airing out of order and a few that even never aired. The fandom, known as browncoats, were passionate despite the plummeting ratings, including myself, frequently buying the DVD box sets and gifting them to friends just to get them to watch it. Gained some new fans that way. I remember I was so enamored with the show at the time, I actually wrote a fan letter to Nathan Fillion, the lead character, Captain Malcolm Reynolds. And he wrote back, or his assistant typed it, honestly, whatever the case. And he sent me a recipe for space bean dip. I never made it because I'm lazy, but I do love bean dip. The boots on the ground movement convinced Fox to greenlight a movie, Serenity, which fans also embraced. Since then, cast members moved on to other projects, Nathan Fillion notably having a very successful run on Castle for ABC, Alan Tudyk's career soaring like a leaf in the wind. Speaking of, did you ever see Con Man? His crowdsourced 2-season mockumentary? It's awesome and star-studded, so you should totally seek it out. Anyway, he nails the aesthetic of the Comic-Con scene. You got to check it out. Morena Baccarin, we saw her in Deadpool 1 and 2. Adam Baldwin went on to NBC's hit Chuck, Summer Glau. In Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Jewel State with Stargate Atlantis. Some comics trickled out. Rumors swirled every year that a sequel or continuation of the series would surface, especially with the advent of streaming services. Now, when least expected, fans just might get what they're clamoring for. Maybe. A Firefly reboot is in the works at Disney+. Safe to say Hollywood has canceled Joss, justifiably for being a set Nazi, insulting or harassing crew, and even some castmates dating back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer days. He even made life hard for Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher on Justice League. With the word reboot and Disney in the same sentence, it's safe to assume the more adult elements from the original series will be watered down. Then again, it always takes me aback when Marvel characters cuss on Disney+, so who knows? Can a reboot work? Well, it did for Battlestar Galactica. But the lightning-in-a-bottle magic of the original cast and writing of Firefly is something I highly doubt can be captured again. But as many of the curious are, I'll be glued to seeing how it all pans out whenever it materializes. No details other than, it's a-comin', don't know when. And without the original cast, I don't know why. Elon Musk. That wascally wabbit is up to his shenanigans again. When he's not trolling Jeff Bezos, manipulating crypto markets, and announcing more Tesla projects than actually surface, he has announced that his neurotech startup, Neurolink, could begin human experimentation as early as next year. He's teasing that implants in the brain could restore even spinal injury patients to be able to walk again or use their limbs. Earlier this year, he showed off a monkey playing a simple video game using only his mind. Now, he envisions an interface where our consciousness intermingles with machines. Not disturbing at all, right? I want to know who's signing up to volunteer for these trials.
All right, out of the way, Herbert.
Oh, boy.
Conspiracy here. This whole Nerdolink project is doomed to fail.
Oh, yeah?
Now, don't tell anybody.
Don't worry, nobody's listening.
I'm going to fly to Austin, find Elon's porta-potty home, and give that man a piece of my mind.
That's what he's hoping for, actually.
Maybe I should read him a book of math equations telepathically so he can pick a name for his next kid. E equals MC Hammer or some crap.
You ever notice it's harder and harder nowadays to understand dialogue in movies and TV shows, and you got to put on the subtitles? I remember watching that awesome black and white movie, The Lighthouse, with my wife in the theater thinking, this is so awesome. What did he say? And man, I can't wait for this to be on home video so we can translate through that thick accent. It's not just accents anymore, though. It's the trend. Old Hollywood was more like a stage play where everything was exaggerated, and nowadays, What are we hearing? Mumblecore.
Everybody's sounding like Clint Eastwood.
Actors are encouraged to give more naturalistic performances. For a really interesting article on Slash Film about this whole phenomenon, sound designers, editors, mixers want to stay anonymous so as not to upset the studios. But yeah, they are aware, just as audiences are. Studios want things more visual, and many directors just have the attitude of, we'll fix it in post. Do you remember that first Dark Knight Rises teaser trailer that had the whole opening scene with Bane? And as soon as you see Bane, he's like... And with Christopher Nolan's subsequent movies, people and even fellow directors and producers are like, Chris, buddy, pal, what are you doing? Now, I can imagine he would argue it's more realistic to not understand. This is entertainment, bro, not reality. In voice acting, a lot of audition scripts will say, give it a cinematic read, meaning not overly dramatic or expressive. Now, I love subtle. It's those nuances that really make a performance stand out. And I get that a lot of audio has to be re-recorded because on set, the boom mic can't get close enough because the cameraman wants to get something more visually interesting, or there's planes overhead, noise on set, etc. But if actors have to come in and dub their own lines anyway, can someone tell them to enunciate? Everybody, tap a random button on your gaming controller to honor a very important figure that changed the video game landscape for generations. Masayuki Uemura has sadly passed away at age 78. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, you are definitely familiar with his creations. NES and SNES, first released in Japan as Famicom in summer of '83 and Super Famicom in late 1990, respectively. Oh, how arcades must have been fuming with the likes of Atari and then Nintendo, keeping kids home instead of splurging on tokens. I remember our parents thought we were like rotting our brains, but now every kid growing up on video games are gaming parents. Now that's how you adult. We fondly remember our 8-bit and 16-bit days. Uemura-san, we salute you.
Oh gosh, look at the time.
Another IBB, yeah, you know me, is in the can. If you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't, stay quiet because I'm trying to build an audience. I now leave you with this parting thought. While we may not be able to control all that happens to us, we can control what happens inside us. So put down that leftover Taco Bell. You'll thank me later. Till next time, see you on the flippity floppity.